Hello everyone, this is Gary Maloney for Sacktown Slam. And boy, what a week it's been for WWE. I'll try to go over everything that's happened this week a little bit at a time, and I think it would be easiest and the most chronological to do if I start looking at things as where things are going with the card for WrestleMania. So, let's look at the first match, or potential match on the card. Rusev is challenging a celebrity, potentially, at WrestleMania, because he wants to be on the card. I don't know if this will get him on the card. I think WWE is kind of putting a feeler out there to maybe see if, people would be interested in fighting Rusev. Stephen Amell was his choice, but with his involvement in the All In show, of course I'm not going to want to fucking help WWE if I'm helping the Young Bucks. So that was a no. And plus, he just politely sent out a tweet saying, "I'm scared of this man, stop asking me to fight him." Then you've had Macaulay Culkin come out and challenge Rusev. Macaulay Culkin. Do I want to see Macaulay Culkin just get his ass beat? Not really. Because he's not going to fight Rusev. He probably doesn't even know how the fuck to wrestle. So why do I want to see him fight Macaulay Culkin? Ridiculous. No one else has been name dropped yet. I'm sure that if and when that match happens, it will most likely be a pre-show match or labeled as such. If they do get a major celebrity, maybe it'll be early in the card, but I wouldn't expect them to give this match more than 10 minutes. So, we'll see what happens there. Then we have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. They are probably going to shove every fucking person that did not make it men's-wise into this battle royal. I mean, that's essentially the point of it. It's become the Jobber Memorial Battle Royal. Very few people have made big things of this. Baron Corbin did, and we all know why he didn't become bigger than he did not become bigger than what he already is, and that's because he has a big mouth. Cesaro, my God, he came so far after he won that Battle Royal. Then you have, guys like Big Show, never did anything for him. And Mojo, I'll be honest, it didn't do too much for Mojo. I mean, he's at least a name now that you can drop and people know who he is. I guess this is the way Cesaro started, but Mojo has a very long way to go. He is no Cesaro by any means. Then you had what's on Monday was the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, but, and there is a but here, that did not end up sticking. And it's not that people didn't want to see another meaningless women's match at WrestleMania. It was the name that pissed people off. So many people went to Twitter and Facebook, etc., etc., And they were like, no, this woman... And let me tell you about some of the things this woman apparently did do based on those that she had trained. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Why would you want to honor a woman like this? She prostituted out her students to people she was working with. She took 30% of their pay and asked them to work odd hours, and would often have her students put her over just so she could stay over. I don't know what wrestling to you means, but if you're training someone, your hope is they become better than you at some point. I mean, this business, you're always a spoke on the wheel. Hell, I work for this business, and I know I'm just one spoke on that somewhat larger wheel. But it's about teamwork. And this woman was not about teamwork. This woman was about herself. But you know why WWE changed the name? Sure as hell wasn't because of the fans. It was because of Snickers. Snickers literally put out a message saying we could not endorse blah blah blah, basically saying we don't want to endorse something about a woman that was essentially so evil. And gone. Now it's just the woman's invitational something or other. Can I just be very, very honest here? And I want to be brutally honest with people. There are 4 women right now that would have placed on my radar for naming a battle royal well over Fabulous Moolah. Okay, first of all, I know some people are going to be salty about it, but what the fuck is wrong with China? I mean, China took drugs. China did porno. So did half the women on the damn roster at that time. Sonny, what the hell? You know, I know Sonny got problems, but it didn't stop you from constantly, whoring out Scott Hall. And, what's wrong with Miss Elizabeth? Yes, I know she had drug problems. Yes, I know she died at a very young age. But what's wrong with Miss Elizabeth? And hell, I'll give you one that's alive. What the fuck is wrong with Lita? These are 4 women you could have named this battle royal after, and you chose to not do it. I'm not understanding the logic behind this. I mean, sometimes WWE does things, and I don't think they think about what the repercussions are. They just want to rewrite history. You can't just take history, figure you're the victor, and say this woman was so great, or this person was da-da-da-da-da. No. Not in the age of free-flowing information. People will fuck up your shit like they have since the Yes movement. WWE, they've got to be more in tune with what their average viewer does. Because their lives don't begin and end with WWE. It's not that way anymore. In fact, I don't think it's been that way since the Attitude Era. But the fact is that you have to know where you're at on the totem pole, and Moolah was very low, whereas the previous 4 women were great. I mean, I can think of even more. Sensational Sherry would have been a great one. Tori Wilson would have been a great one. You know? I mean, it just... I don't get it. But whatever. WWE has just chosen to kill one of their initiatives, which I wish they'd do that with Roman Reigns, because if they killed that initiative, then we'd all actually be happier instead of sad that these women who are having so many first-time evers, you know, pretty much got screwed out of one, and whatever. So, then you look at the U.S. title situation. Fastlane, we saw Orton get that title off of Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode is no longer the U.S. champ. And, you know, you figured it'd be a straight rematch. Unfortunately, Jinder Mahal continues to insert himself in that situation. You know, even going into this week's SmackDown, he inserted himself back into that situation. So I get the feeling that what we are going to get is a triple threat for the U.S. title. Do I think this feud needs that? No. Fuck Jinder. Jinder is a fucking loser. He is a failure as a champion. He is a failure just at wrestling. He's just not a good wrestler. His character work has improved greatly, but that's just because he's gotten increased mic time. His wrestling ability is awful. I mean, I dare say it's almost up there with Enzo Amore. I mean, this guy needs to go to a wrestling school. You can be the most pumped up, roided up, juiced up bastard in the world, but wrestling is an art form. If you do not know how to paint, you're not going to be able to paint me a picture. And that's the problem. Jinder cannot paint the picture because he don't know how to work on the canvas. Anyway, that being said, I hope this is Bobby Roode versus Orton, but we will see in the next 2 weeks where this is headed. Get the feeling this is going to be a triple threat. Then there's another match that was announced. It was going to be Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Then the two of them jumped Shane, who has stepped down as commissioner of of SmackDown, you know, indefinitely. You know, indefinitely being a loose term for I've stepped down because I'm going to be a wrestler, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that could all be a ploy. Obviously, he's not stepping down from anything. But it's to get him off TV for a few weeks, let him train, get himself into ring shape for Wrestlemania, I'm sure. Here's the deal. And this is really where I think what's going to hurt this match the most. We went into this at the beginning of the year, or even at the end of last year, right after Survivor Series, thinking that Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon were going to be wrestling Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now I'm hearing that Daniel Bryan does not want to do this. First of all, if I'm Daniel Bryan, get over your own ego. They're giving you a chance to get back in the ring, and you're saying no? Well, who's to say that after this is over, the answer will always be no? If you can take it, boy, take it. The yes movement should live on. But if Daniel Bryan has in fact said no to this, and it does turn out to be true that it's going to be Shane, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn in a triple threat, that's yet again another triple threat in this, continuing saga of triple threats. At least they're lowering it from the Fatal 5-Way. But it presents a problem in finishing the storytelling, because Daniel Bryan was very much a part of that story. That story was about Daniel Bryan being the guy who rooted for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It's a story of how Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan did not get along or have the same ideas since Survivor Series, essentially. So, you've gone through 3 of your big 4, or big 5, if you want to include Money in the Bank, that really, this whole thing started in October, and it is ending now, and it's been one of the best told stories, and I don't want to be robbed, per se, of a logical ending, if I do not have to be robbed of a logical ending. So, that's all I've got to say about that. I mean, if Daniel Bryan doesn't want to wrestle, he's not going to wrestle. And if his whole thing is, I don't want to be full-time or part-time, I want to be full-time, and he's going to go that route, the chances is WWE is going to write him out of WWE entirely after WrestleMania and probably make someone else the commissioner or GM. Because if his, thing is to be at the All In show, then he should just ask for his contract to be, to be done with. And just say goodbye to WWE. Because he's not going to come. Because if he goes to that All In show, the chances are he's not coming back to WWE. Okay, so next thing on the card, you have a tag team match from SmackDown, which at Fastlane, before the Usos and the New Day could even finish their match, they got jumped by the Bludgeon Brothers. And the Bludgeon Brothers, they used their hammers and everything. They fucking killed all 5 of them. In fact, kayfabe injury, I'm sure, but it probably hurt nonetheless. They were power bombing people into the steps. Supposedly Xavier Woods has a major injury, quote unquote, but I haven't haven't heard anything major. So it's probably kayfabe. It's definitely one of the more interesting things, nonetheless, though, happening at WrestleMania, because New Day and Usos was stale. We all knew it was stale. It needed a boost of juice in it. It needed to be, and yeah, I'll get to the whole Johnny Bravo thing here in a minute, speaking of juice, but allow me to finish this first. But the New Day and the Usos had been done so many times. I mean, what was the point? But I figured it's a good match. It's always going to be a solid match. I think those that want to break up the New Day, yes, New Day's in a slump. Every tag team goes through a slump. It's how you get yourself out of that slump that makes you or breaks you as a tag team. and New Day has been very, very good at getting themselves out of that slump. I think that, what we saw from Big E on SmackDown, what we saw from Jey Uso, because really Usos don't need to change at all. If they want to be the anti-hero, I'm a thug and I'm going to beat the shit out of you no matter who the fuck you are because we've been down since day one-ish, I'm okay with that. That is the Usos as of now. I don't want to see them go back to the face paint in the Samoan costumes because we've got enough of that going around with Roman. I think the Usos most definitely are the total package right now because they made themselves. And this is going to be their first WrestleMania match. And from what I am hearing, this is also, it is not in any way Luke Harper's first WrestleMania match. It's not Eric Rowan's first WrestleMania match. Their first match was against The Shield back at, I believe, WrestleMania 30. And, I hate to say it, but, it's not even the New Day's first WrestleMania match. Their first WrestleMania match, I think, was 2 years ago. So, I've got to say this, that, Usos, they came out this year and they renewed themselves in the lake of rejuvenation. Literally. And just, they made themselves not only likable, but a threat. The Bludgeon Brothers, they haven't had any credible competition. But now they want it. And we all know why we like teams that want competition and that are big like this. And obviously Rowan and Harper have been working on their tag team moves and making their symbols akin to AOP per se. The way that I love the way Luke Harper just slaps Eric Rowan and he comes in and they just beat the crap out of people while beating the crap out of each other. That's a gimmick I could grow to love. They're definitely off the wall, off kilter, but it is not something that I necessarily think is bad or distasteful. I think that they're going to be a good tag team. I think SmackDown, they can really make good tag teams. You look at that, and that's really all I can say for that match. So it is looking like at WrestleMania it will be the Usos versus the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, the rumor I've been hearing is that this will be TLC for the title. That would pretty much monopolize the fact that SmackDown is making Raw its bitch this year at WrestleMania. Because not a damn match, one on the Raw card, and it sure the fuck isn't Roman Reigns, is anything I care about as of this point. So then you go to Charlotte and Asuka. Obviously at Fastlane, anyone who's been watching WWE in the last 7 days knows that Asuka showed up after Charlotte went Fastlane. Then Asuka showed up on Raw, won there, and then showed up on SmackDown to have not really a confrontation, but to a face-to-face with Charlotte. And Charlotte, you know how and why people respect you as a champion. Not when you pull this Brock Lesnar, fuck everyone, I don't want to fucking give you competition if you're not worthy of my competition, and I only want to work 5 days a fucking year because I want to shoot helpless animals. Yeah, we've heard it all before. But seriously, Brock, you know, the reason why people don't respect him is he doesn't work the dates. And I know Roman's trying to get everyone to believe in what he is saying. It's not what he's saying isn't true. It's that no one wants to hear it from Roman. But we'll get to Roman in a sec. But the reason why people respect Charlotte is she works so much. She's even had 2 matches, I think, in one night with this mixed match challenge thing going on. It's fucking ridiculous. I really, really have to say, though, that what she did with Asuka was awesome. Saying that she only wanted the best competition and that the women's title encompasses the best in women. And that she should be, and that she wants to defend it against not only the hungriest but the best. And there was only one person she could think of facing at WrestleMania, and that was Asuka. And that she wanted to face the woman who won the Royal Rumble. She wanted to face the undefeated one, and she wanted it to be streak versus title. You see, that's the type of verbiage you want out of any champion. And good on fucking Charlotte for having the balls to go out there. I know she probably wants to be a heel for this, but making it a face versus face and saying, we can be nice now, but once we get in the ring, I'm going to fucking kill you kind of sense, that brings so much more honor to a match. There are plenty of assholes out there. Brock is being made to be the asshole, even though everyone's going to want him to kill Roman Reigns. And the Bludgeon Brothers are definitely up there as far as bad guys. And then, of course, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and, the list goes on. But it's very interesting how the women's titles, or the SmackDown women's title, is shaping up. Whereas last year, we got Naomi essentially beating up Alexa Bliss, which was extremely fucking uneventful. It was just like, Anyway, this year we are getting literally one of the greatest women's matches that I could potentially ever think of putting together. I don't think we've seen this since Lita versus Trish Stratus. That is how long we have waited for a match that will more than likely be very, very fucking good. And, a lot of people want to talk about women's wrestling and the evolution that it's taken. This will be proof of that evolution. Asuka is an incredible athlete, not a pair of tits. Charlotte is an incredible athlete, though I'd like her to pick up the pace a little bit now that we're in WrestleMania time. But she ain't about her ass. These women are there to fight. So I'm very looking forward to that. Then you got the next match. Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles. Let's lay the cards out there right on the table. They briefly mentioned Wrestle Kingdom 10, obviously not by name, but they talked about their histories. AJ called them out. Nakamura and AJ have been very playful, but, Nakamura ends up saving AJ on SmackDown. Here's the thing. I don't want this to become one of those, I save you, you save me, and then we beat the crap out of each other kind of storylines. No. Unnecessary and overly fucking dramatic. I would prefer that these guys really start to, intimidate each other. Have a match, 1 week, and have the other guy just kind of come out there. If you want them both to be face, have them do it after the match is over and just kind of taunt them or be at ringside or something, and have them, have that contract signing or whatever, the week before. Honestly, this feud between Nakamura and AJ Styles, you don't need to write it. It writes itself. Is a rematch of, quite frankly, one of the greatest wrestling matches in history. It is up there with Omega versus Okada. It is up there with Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. It is up there with, Kevin Steen versus El Generico. Okay? The things that I've seen from that first match really, really makes me hope that they make this the main event instead of Brock Lesnar versus freaking Roman Reigns. Why do we gotta jerk off Roman Reigns and give him yet a 4th WrestleMania in a row and being in the main event for winning an Elimination Chamber that everyone knew he was going to win once he lost the Royal Rumble? I mean, we're not stupid. I mean, you think that the average fan is stupid. We're not stupid. WWE wants to insult our intelligence. We're not stupid. We're not here to be mindless puppets to watch your shit, because there is plenty of other wrestling on that outside WWE that's sometimes twice as good in ring. Ring of Honor and New Japan definitely being 2 of them, which is why I'm very excited that War Machine is in NXT right now, because what they could do in NXT is just fucking great, given their tag team. But again, I'll get to that later. I personally, I'm very, very interested in knowing what's going to happen in the next, with this match. I'm curious who the next WWE title holder is going to be. I want to, what an image it would be for Nakamura to hold up that title and it be not only the first Asian WWE champion, but hold it over a WrestleMania sign with fireworks going off with that being the final match. Fuck yeah. I'm usually gassed after most WrestleManias and don't give a fuck. Last year was a perfect example. Last year was horrible. I mean, the WrestleMania it had a few good moments, but it was maybe a 4 at best for me. Hardy Boys being the epitome of the best part of that Rumble. Of that WrestleMania. But this WrestleMania, SmackDown's card, almost top to bottom, is looking very solid. for a lot of reasons. Now let's move over to Raw. Okay, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I'm going to just talk about what they've been trying to do. First of all, I will give credit where credit is due. The promos that I've seen from Roman coming out of Elimination Chamber have been much better than what he was doing versus John Cena. I think it was SummerSlam? No. It was, Money in the Bank. Or no. I don't know. I remember. It was during the summer. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that his promo skills have improved. So I will give him that. But when you're blatantly calling Brock Lesnar his boy, well, no shit, he's Vince's boy. Vince pays him $12 million a year. Not that you don't get paid your $7 million, Roman. You know? So, again, we're not stupid. The other thing that really just sort of agitates me about this whole thing is that we're not, this is not being looked at from a perspective where anyone cares, because we don't. If you cared, we would be getting bloodshed right now. People, Brock and Roman would be having that face-to-face instead of Brock basically, and here's the thing. Apparently they've exhausted all their dates with Brock Lesnar. Now, I don't know about, and they wanted him to sign a mini extension for a few more dates before WrestleMania. Brock refused. Brock wants full-year contracts, or he said he's going to UFC. Now, I don't know how the fuck this match is going to go down, because, there's still a few more weeks before WrestleMania. If Brock resigns, God forbid, then he will probably retain. And more than likely, they will throw Bobby Lashley at him after WrestleMania at Payback. If Roman Reigns, or if he decides to not resign, Roman Reigns will win the title, and Brock will just say la vie, and go to where he thinks the money is at, which is UFC. But this is the problem. Brock Lesnar was getting paid $12 million a year. You're not going to get paid that much in UFC, Brock. You fight maybe once, and the first time you get knocked the fuck out, they will be done with you. Because you are 1-1 in your last two. And I get the feeling UFC gave you a pity for your last fight because they knew you were leaving. Obviously, there's no way in telling whether WWE would let him fight in UFC and fight in WWE. I doubt it. Again, he's almost 42. So, it's a guy that I just don't have a lot of stock in. I don't care about. It's like if he stays or goes, it doesn't really change anything for me. He's barely there to begin with. Yes, he puts asses in seats. Yes, he is a nice sideshow attraction. But beyond that, he is not the show. Nor has he ever been the show. Since coming back in 2012, he's been nothing but a problem. A financial problem that WWE just needs to get over. So, be done with them already. But, again, this is probably culminating to Roman winning, and they're trying to get him over, and it is not working, and it's so funny how all these Roman Reigns fans on the internet are so sensitive. It's like, how dare you do that around Roman? Don't hinder the ginger. No. It's like, first of all, have your own brain before forming an opinion, and then form an opinion. You can't be drinking the Kool-Aid and form your own fucking opinion. So, just gotta lay that down there. Then you have your tag team situation in WWE. First of all, I'm going to name off all the tag teams that are there outside the bar. So, but the bar, they're the champions. Superglued tag team. And when I say superglued tag team, that means they are two singles competitors that were more than likely forced into being a tag team because WWE felt there was more stock in them as a tag team. So, the bar was not so much that way. It was that Sheamus has spinal stenosis, and they're trying to, reduce the amount of bumps he has to take. So, in that sense, I don't have a problem with the bar. It's also two guys with the same wrestling style, so it works. Anyway, bar, superglued tag team, Titus Worldwide, superglued tag team, Slater and Rhino, superglued tag team. Are you noticing a theme here? Then you have the Revival, and then you have the Club. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm glad that Strowman walked in and threw all those fuckers out, and he won the Battle Royal they had on Monday to decide who faces the bar. Here's the thing. WWE knows they fucked up on the Revival, and the injury to both of them did them no good. They missed most of the year last year. They had a hot streak coming in. They were, supposed to face the New Day, and then they got injured, and then they were going to face Enzo and Cass, and then the other one got injured, and that was pretty much that. So they're having to start from ground zero again. That's very disappointing. I personally feel like it should be either the Club or the Revival, because none of those other tag teams have earned it. Slater and Rhino are a joke. Rhino needs to retire, and Slater needs to be repackaged and put on SmackDown. I think he is definitely a U.S. title kind of guy. Titus Worldwide is awful. That is like where people go to die. It's like the whole Enter the Wastelands thing. These guys are the fucking Wastelands. You took three no-ones who you could not get over, made them an Oreo, and fucking thought that could get over. No. It's very, very odd to me that you would have just a ridiculous team like that. So, when Strowman won, getting back to my point, a lot of people now are talking about how he may have to be, or forced to be picked, forced to pick a partner to go up against the bar with. A lot, and I mean a lot of sources out there on the internet are saying that partner may very well be Elias. I think this would be great. This has got Hell No written all over it, and I don't mean Hell No, I don't want to see it. I mean Daniel Bryan and Kane back in the day. This also has two-man power trip written all over it. Granted, it's before these guys ever had a power trip, because neither of them have had damn belts yet. But this may be their way of sticking belts on both Elias and freaking Braun Strowman at once, which this could propel their careers. And the Bar, I'm so tired of the Bar. The Bar was basically champions throughout the entirety of the last 12 months. They are a great team, and I have nothing against them, but I feel like, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's all we're really getting with the Bar. So, oh yeah, the other team that was in that Battle Royal, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, super glued tag team, cough, cough. Anyway, getting back to my point here, it is time to take the titles off the Bar. There's obviously a lot of tag teams in the works in NXT. Once they get them, all these super glued pieces of shit will either have to prove their work, or they will probably be headed out the door in spring cleaning. I know AOP is slated to go up. I know there are a lot of tag teams that, like TM61, who are probably ring ready. It's just injuries have set them back. I know Sanity is going to be ready after, and I am sure that they will not win the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I think that, what about Mustache Mountain? Why not make them regular competitors on Raw? You don't have to have them on every Raw, but you're not doing anything with the UK guys anyway. This would be a great platform on your flagship show to, show the UK guys. I mean, I know you like having them on NXT, and that's cool too. But having two UK guys hold the tag titles wouldn't be a first time for it. Anyway, let's go on to their women's division, which very well may be on the pre-show. Here's the thing. And Nia Jax, and I feel so bad for Nia Jax that this is the way it's going to happen. They basically on Monday night showed like an open mic kind of session with Alexa Bliss talking shit about Nia Jax. Oh, poor, poor, pitiful me. I got beat by Asuka. Like, who gives a shit? But, shit talkers gonna talk. And then Nia Jax, saw it, because everyone saw it on the damn Titantron. And it was stupid. And this whole angle is stupid. I really, in my opinion, them waiting on this to spring this match at WrestleMania is very lazy booking. This really should have been done at the Rumble. I think that, because after what happened, it's in December, I feel like, they're trying to switch out pieces, and Alexa Bliss is very manipulative, but she needs some time away from the title. She's had the title for almost a year now. And the only difference between her and Brock Lesnar is that she's actually there to wrestle. And she wrestles other people. And she wrestles on a well more regular basis. Though she hadn't defended the title since October. For WWE. So she defended it at Royal Rumble. She won. I just feel like there's a very I don't give a shit feeling about this, when what you should have done, or as if I'm the WWE, what I would have done, you take the title off of Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss didn't need the title after Elimination Chamber. Her value was not there after Elimination Chamber. It wasn't. So, and the fact that she won it was basically, literally telling everybody, hey, she's gonna go to WrestleMania as the champion. Like, why do we want to see that? And why would Mickie James align herself with Alexa Bliss? This is that point where, if you're a smart booker, you are having every woman in that locker room bloodthirsty as fuck, wanting to kill her, and everyone around her that would take her throne. This is where competition should be born, not alliances. And the problem is the difference between now and then, like the Attitude Era or the Monday Night Wars or the early 90s or late 80s, is that WWE is just out of sync with how to book things. They're very on cruise control. And with the way they want to book this, with it being Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, it's going to be like a 5-minute squash. So why the fuck should it be on the main card? You put the 2 Jobber Memorial Battle Royals, and then you have that match. There's your main card. Or there's your, pre-show. Yeah, right, your main card. Anyway, then you get to probably the most interesting part about what Raw is going on right now. It's the Intercontinental title. Thank God they chose to go against adding a 4th person or 5th person to the Intercontinental title mix. I did not want another Fatal 5-Way. That is, you just did a 6-man during a Fastlane. There was no reason to do this. So, really, this is a match between 3 people who are very good performers: Miz, Rollins, and Balor. They have been, Miz tried to get Balor and, Rollins upset at each other and tried to get them to fight each other, only to have them beat the crap out of the Miz. This is basically the workhorse, the guy who never got a chance at the title he ever lost, and a guy who thinks that his title run means everything. I'm going to be honest, though. I don't want to see Miz with the title anymore. Miz with the Intercontinental title is a fucking joke, because he cheats and uses things 1 and 2 to win. He is no better than Jinder Mahal at this point in time. And it's stupid. I mean, you can be a good heel and not cheat to win. No one, the book on heels does not say cheat to win. You don't have to do that. Just look at fucking Brock Lesnar. You think he's going to cheat to win at WrestleMania? Assuming he wins? No. So don't tell me you have to, quote-unquote, cheat to win. Anyway, the obvious reason why he was put in there with Balor and Rollins is one of 2. One, if they'd have put him in there one-on-one with one or the other, then there's a DQ, and Miz could just use the Miz Taraj, and things could be disqualified. They could be disqualified. So under triple threat, it's a disqualification. There's no DQ. You don't need to worry about it. The other reason I think they did this is if they'd have put him against one of the other people and had a straight match, if Rollins or Balor didn't win that match, it would have come away with a very negative backlash on Miz. And I mean negative backlash as in, stop shoving your agenda down our throats kind of backlash. And you don't want that at WrestleMania. So my guess here is that Balor wins. If Balor does not win, then it will be Seth. I mean, I do not think in any reality whatsoever that you are going to get The Miz as the winner of this triple threat. It's just not happening. So running down all those things, there's plenty of things. That's like, I think 12 matches. So there's that sounds about right. Excuse me, forgot one. The cruiserweights. They've been having a tournament, which I have seen every single episode of. Ever since Enzo was gone from 205 Live, I have watched. That is how happy I was to see Enzo disappear forever from the history of WWE. Enzo was garbage. Enzo was garbage. And if you don't believe that, just watch his wrestling matches. He sucked. Okay? And he was a plague to this fucking company. This guy was from New York. You know what New York is famous for? Wrestling schools. You know how many wrestling schools he went to before he signed with the WWE? 0 dimes! So, yeah. I can't. And some would say, well, it's not his fault WWE didn't make him go to a wrestling school. No, it's not his fault. Or, no, it's not WWE. It is WWE's fault, essentially. It's also Enzo's fault for being a shitty wrestler and a big talker. I mean, this is a guy that would have had a much, much better, I think, time in WWE if he'd been a manager and not a wrestler. But all things considered, that really doesn't matter anymore. But getting back to the point, it does appear that it's going to be Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali for the Cruiserweight title at WrestleMania. I am sad that Roderick Strong is not the one, and I am sad that Mark Andrews is not also one of the ones. But, those two guys are incredible at what they do. The way that they have Roderick Strong around just every fucking title. The NXT title, the NXT tag title, the UK title, and now the Cruiserweight title. They're testing the waters for something. I mean, this fucker has got IC title written all over him once he gets out of NXT. You want to talk about a fucking workhorse? How about a guy who just had a child and is doing this for his family? I know that's a very fucking cliched term in this day and age, but NXT did such a great job highlighting his life and the shit he had to go through just to succeed. It's a very, very telling story. But yeah, Cedric Alexander, though, I will say this much. I feel like he deserves it. I feel like a match at WrestleMania is becoming of him. I remember at the Cruiserweight Classic when everybody was saying, please sign Cedric. I remember I remember before Enzo was, thrown out of WWE, how he had a match against Enzo. I think it was, I want to say, January-ish. And then, that match got taken off the card. So, and the whole Zotrain thing disappeared. And the whole, everything just disappeared. So, I'm glad he's getting a shot. Mustafa Ali is great. I'm glad this is two aerial combatants fighting over a title that should be fought by aerial combatants. God, can you imagine if they'd have pushed Enzo through this whole damn tournament? Ugh. So, yes, we are getting true brilliance from the cruiserweight division for the first time in a very long time. I think that Rockstar Spud or Drake Maverick or whatever the fuck they want to call him these days, he's doing a great job at being a GM. Obviously, he's got some sort of... He might have or be gaining some sort of pull with WWE. I don't think they'd have put him in there as a general manager if he didn't have some sort of sway with the company. I think that 205 Live, it will gradually be getting better. So, in that sense, that match too, I hope it makes the card that is not pre-showed. If it is pre-show and is deemed as pre-show trash, I will be very angry, because those two people fought very hard to have a match at WrestleMania, not the fucking pre-show when no one is in their seats. If anything, make this the opening bout. If you make this the opening bout, you will have asses in seats like that. Give these guys 15, 20 minutes. Damn, that is going to be a good show from those two guys. Beyond any of that, now I said I'd be getting back to the whole Johnny Bravo thing. This guy came out, I want to say 2-3 weeks ago, said, oh, I have all this proof that this wrestler, that Roman Reigns did steroids, and then all of a sudden it was Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and Austin and Rock and blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out today he's like, oh, I have evidence, I just can't release it. So, A, he's either full of shit, which is more than likely the case, or B, WWE paid him to just make it go away. He's already in jail. So, I have no idea what happened here. My honest opinion is that he was full of shit. I mean, when it comes down to it, if you're buying things or selling things from people when people are buying them from aliases or under aliases, how the fuck do you know who's buying your product? I mean, really, just I don't know how that works, but it is very, very stupid. And, we were all kind of hoping that Roman would be, removed from the main event, but I guess that's not the case. And this whole Johnny Bravo thing is just stupid. and some of the comments online, I love the whole gifs of, the old Johnny Bravo cartoon, which is really funny. That's been like a gif today from so many wrestling fans. But I'll be honest, it's looking on the SmackDown side of things like WrestleMania is going to be awesome. But when you look at the Raw side of things, there are maybe 2 matches I care about. I mean, if they do Team Elias and, Braun Strowman, then yeah, my interest is invested in that match. If it's just Braun Strowman, then why the fuck do I care? It's not even a tag team. It's one guy probably destroying 2 other guys. I could give a fuck about the women's title on Raw. They're not doing it. They're not utilizing it. It should have been Sasha versus freaking Bayley. I don't know when WWE is ever going to use those 2 to their full potential, but I just don't think it's ever going to be at WrestleMania. I honestly don't. I mean, this has got WrestleMania feud written all over it, but they're just not doing it. I love the IC title. I do. And God willing, Miz will not get his hands on that again for at least 2 years. I do not want him around, near, or in the IC title picture for at least a year to 2 years. As far as I am concerned, Miz, ever since he won that title from Zack Ryder, he has had that fucking title. With a brief, albeit brief, I think 6 months without it when you combine Ziggler and Dean Ambrose. So it upsets me that it has come down to making it so obvious that you're swapping the title, but making it a triple threat so we don't know who you're going to give it to. So, with U.S. title, it doesn't feel that way. That feels like attention to detail and the fact that, well, Jinder's fucked you and Jinder's fucked you, so why don't we just put him in the match and both beat the shit out of him? Which is what I think is going to happen. The IC title match just feels like a desperate attempt to sell the IC title now that no one cares. No one cares. It is going to take 6 months of rebuilding that title and a 6-month reign from someone like a Seth Rollins or a Finn Balor to make anyone care about that title. So you've systematically destroyed your 2 biggest titles on Raw. That is what I find funny and sad. Anyway, it's getting late here for me. It's about 8 o'clock here, at Pacific Standard Time. And I've got work tomorrow. I will be at the SPW Arena on 6200 McMahon Drive. SPW is always a great show. It's always third Sunday of every month. This is our last show before our anniversary show in April, which, yes, we were actually formed in April. No, that is not us trying to play on the WWE. So, although it is rather funny that we're on McMahon Drive with the man with 3 H's, but yeah, we are one of the best indie groups in California. There are many other great indie groups, and I'm all about indie wrestling. These guys, and the great thing about SPW is there are several territories that work with SPW, with our wrestlers. We always have great matches, and I'm very proud of being a part of SPW and that they've allowed me to be a part of it. You'd never believe that a guy in my position that was in a wheelchair was a part of a company like SPW. So, gotta give some love out there to, the guys there at SPW. Anyway, I'm Gary Maloney. I'm going to sign off, maybe relax for a little bit, and then go to bed and get ready for tomorrow morning. Peace!